The Northville Placid Trail is a 139-mile-long hiking trail that runs through the heart of the Adirondacks, from the village of Northville in the south to the village of Lake Placid in the north. We through-hiked the NPT in August of 2020.
Day one, we are on trail. We have decided to do a 12-mile SOBO from car to car, from, I don't know, some parking lot into Northville, and then we'll jump ahead, place cars at either end, and then really start backpacking. It's a good warm-up for the legs. I always recommend, a lean-to. This must be the new lean-to. And this is our river ford. Wave.
To a foggy morning on day 2 at the Abner Brook campsite, but the fog quickly burned off and we had another day of sunshine and very hot weather. Our plan for day 2 was to break camp and hike about 19 miles northbound, passing by the Silver Lake Lean-To, the Mud Lake Lean-To, the White House area, and end the day at the Hamilton Lake Stream Lean-To. From there, we would be well placed to hike the 6.5 miles in the morning to the Upper Pasico Trailhead parking area where one of our cars were. We'd be able to shuttle cars, grab some food in town, and resupply for the next 3-day stretch of backcountry hiking.
So how do you feel day 2?
I'm tired.
I'm recording.
Oh.
So we have reached the bridge of death. Notice it's not straight. It's crooked.
And it's got little pieces of wood.
Here, you go first. Fuck the camera stage? Is that what we're calling this?
Yeah.
Have fun. I'll wait till you're across.
The water was over that.
Yeah, I saw. With all the debris. I wonder if that was in the tropical storm. Just watch her, don't fall through. Jesus Christ.
Day 3 started with an early wake-up at the Hamilton Lake Stream lean-to. Our goal was to get to our car 6.5 miles north from the lean-to by midday. We made good time to Route 8, where the trail begins a 3-mile road walk on Old Pasico Road and Haskell's Road. We reached Route 8 just around 11 a.m., and while the road walk isn't difficult, it is open to the sun most of the time, and it was another hot, sunny day. Mo and I really enjoyed the halfway station on the road walk. We took a break there and relaxed at the shaded picnic table before we continued. Once we got to the car, we ran a quick shuttle so we'd next reach a car at the crossing of Route 28 near Lake Durant. As we were doing the shuttling, we stopped for ice cream and then lunch, in that order. Once back on the trail, our intention was to camp at the Fall Stream campsite about 4.5 miles in. About halfway there, we heard thunder, and by the time we got our pack covers on, it was pouring, and it continued to pour all the way to Fall Stream. At that point, we decided even though it would be a late night, it'd be better to have a lean-to, and the first of the 3 lean-tos at Spruce Lake was another 5 miles in. We carried on, and the rain eventually let up. When we reached the first of the Spruce Lake lean-tos at about 10:30 at night, it was thankfully empty, so we had a dry home.
This trail life, right? Packing up after our original plan of hiking about 4.5 miles to do an easy day after doing car swap. We started in and we heard thunder and we're like, well, we're about 1.5 miles to the campsite. And then we heard thunder again, and then all of a sudden it was like, shit, it's coming now. And so we did 9 miles to this beautiful lean-to.
9.5.
Oh, 9.5 miles to this beautiful lean-to. but I think it was a good plan because at least we could spread out and try to dry out, even though everything is still very wet. But it's a nice sunny day, dry. On to the next spot.
On day 4 of our hike, we traveled through one of the Adirondacks' great wilderness areas, the West Canada Lakes Wilderness. From our camp at Spruce Lake Lean-To No. 1, we hiked north past the next 2 Spruce Lake Lean-Tos, through some boggy areas, and eventually reached the crossing of West Canada Creek and the West Canada Creek Lean-To. Just past that lean-to, we stopped for lunch at the South Lake Lean-To and got in a swim. The South Lake Lean-To is almost on the shoreline, and there's a bit of a beach that makes it the perfect spot to stop and relax. From South Lake, we continued across its outlet, and then to the crossing of the stream that links West Lake and Mud Lake. A few miles later, we came to the shore of the Cedar Lakes, and passed the Cedar Lakes Lean-To No. 3, the Beaver Pond Cedar Lakes Lean-To No. 2, and then made camp at Cedar Lakes No. 1 Lean-To. Day 4 ended up being a roughly 13.5-mile day, which felt rather good after the bigger miles we had been putting on for the first few days. Camp at the Lean-To on the Cedar Lakes was incredible. It was just us, the loons, and so many stars. It was the first night we had a fire, and we both just thoroughly enjoyed the solitude and the wilderness together. This was my favorite day and night on the trail. Truly an incredible area that the Northville Placid Trail traverses. Day 5 of our hike, we had a long day, hiking from the Cedar Lakes No. 1 Lean-To to Wakely Dam, setting up camp, and then slackpacking to our car on Route 28 before driving back to Wakely Dam to spend the night. Given the problems I was having with my toe though, it set us up to enjoy a 0 on day 6 and would give me some time to pick up first aid supplies. From Cedar Lakes, we hiked out to Cedar River Road on what used to be the Jeep Road into the old Ranger camp at Cedar Lakes. That made for some good hiking speed.
activity. Me and my sandals, I just went right through. Pretty nasty though. How do you feel about the beaver activity?
Wonderful. Just past the Carey Lean-To, we came across a section of trail a few hundred yards long that was completely flooded by beaver activity. There wasn't any other way around it other than to just walk through. In some places, the water was almost up to our knees. Now, with wet feet, we continued on the trail to the road and then followed it down to Wakely Dam where we had lunch. We also grabbed one of the first come, first served campsites, set up our tents, slimmed down our packs, and got ready for the slack pack from Wakely Dam to Route 28.
So, when we talk about Principle 6, respect wildlife, this little devil, or a public camping area, obviously has been fed by visitors because it has no fear of me. No, got nothing. No, 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 no.
We wanted the slack pack to be done, and we made quick work of the trek, getting to the car just as it was getting dark. We drove back to Wakely Dam, making a side trip into the village of Indian Lake to grab soda, pizza, and burgers at the Stewart's, and then enjoyed it all by the campfire before quickly falling asleep for the night. Day 6 was our first and only zero on the trail. We awoke at Wakely Dam, packed up, and then headed into the village of Indian Lake for breakfast, stopped for swimming at the public beach and Speculator along with lunch, and then headed down to Pasico to pick up the other car. From there, we headed to the village of Long Lake to drop off one car at the trailhead, and along the way managed to snag a reservation at a hotel on what turned out to be a very busy Adirondack weekend. We checked into the hotel, cleaned up, and then grabbed some dinner. I wasn't able to find a walk-in clinic for my toe, but I did do the best I could with supplies at the local pharmacy to clean it up and then keep it well wrapped for the rest of the trip. We got a hotel room for 2 nights because the next day we would slack pack from Lake Durant to Long Lake to see how my toe was doing. If all was good, we'd head back into the woods at Long Lake for what would be the last 3 days of hiking to Lake Placid. Day 7, we slack packed between Route 28 and Long Lake, a distance of 15.5 miles. At about 3.5 miles in from Route 28, the trail passes by the O'Neill Flow Lean-To at the south end of Terrell Pond. From there, you're hiking along the very scenic shoreline for a little over a mile until you reach the Terrell Pond Lean-To at the pond's northern end. There's also a great beach here for those who want to take a swim. From the pond, the trail gradually ascends through a working forest where logging is taking place. The trail also joins an active woods road for a brief time before turning off that road and heading towards the high point of the MPT. Once you're back in the woods, the trail slowly ascends up a valley to a beautiful open area that gives you a view of the ridge and the saddle that you'll be climbing over on the trail. From there, the trail begins to climb more steeply until reaching the height of land at just over 3,000 feet. Sadly, there's no real view from this point. After the height of land, it's all downhill from there in this section. The trail descends steeply at first and then more gently before eventually coming out to the trailhead parking area on Route 28N. From there, it's a road walk on Tarbell Road to the parking lot where the trail goes back into the woods before reaching Long Lake. After getting our car at Tarbell Road, we shuttled cars and dropped one off at the northern end of the NPT in Lake Placid. It felt good to be running our last shuttle and seeing the end of the trail. It was back to the hotel after that for some fine dining, COVID style. With the final car shuttle already in place, we headed back to Tarbell Road after checking out of the hotel on the morning of day 8. With roughly 3 days of hiking left, our plan for today was to hike from Tarbell Road to the Cold River area. From Tarbell Road, the trail drops down towards the shoreline of Long Lake and then makes its way, at times close to the shore and at times further away to the north. You pass a number of different lean-tos, including the Catlin Bay lean-tos, Kelly Point lean-tos, Rodney Point lean-tos, and the lean-tos at Plumley Point. Just past the Plumley's lean-tos, the trail turns to the northeast, away from the lake, and starts heading towards the Cold River area. It's a rather nondescript section of trail passing through open forests, boggy areas, and beaver meadows before getting to Shattuck Clearing. This was the site of a former ranger station, and you can still find remnants of old buildings and other improvements slowly being taken over by the forest. Shortly after Shattuck Clearing, the trail crosses Moose Pond Stream on a large suspension bridge that was in noticeably better shape than the suspension bridges at the south end of the trail. A little further, and you cross the Cold River on an even larger suspension bridge, and the two Cold River lean-tos are just beyond the end of the bridge.
All right, I think we have a trail name for him. I think I'm gonna call him Indiana. We got another bridge. This one not too bad. How is it? Not the bridge of death. Don't say. He's too cute. All good? All good. All right. We were laughing about his trail name possibility, and then we reached another one. It's confirmed. Indiana it is. The trail has spoken. How's that? Oh, you can see through the floor. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a little disconcerting. Beautiful river. It's almost across. Is good?
We called the Cold River No. 4 lean-to home that night. We took some time to enjoy the Cold River with some swimming, which, despite its name, is a great swim, then some dinner, and then we crashed for the night. Waking up on day 9, the sun was out, but the clouds didn't exactly look welcoming. That said, it was warm and it wasn't raining. We took a quick morning swim, made breakfast, filtered some water, and got on our way. Today's goal was to hike to Duck Hole, roughly 12 miles, which would leave a 12-mile day for our last day out to Lake Placid. As we headed north towards the Seward lean-to and what I knew was a world-class swimming hole at Miller's Falls, I was so hoping that the clouds would break, the sun would come out, and it would be totally worth the pit stop for swimming. Alas, we got to the Seward lean-to and it began to drizzle. We ended up having a snack, getting our rain gear out, and heading north. By the time we were approaching the lean-to on Seward Brook, the rain had really started to come down and the temperatures had begun to drop, making for a cold hike. We stopped at the lean-to where 3 other northbounders had also stopped. Turned out one of them was also an Appalachian Trail thru-hiker, and she and Mo reminisced about the AT as we all waited for the rain to die down. The rain eventually ended and we got back on the trail. We passed the Rondow Hermitage as the trail left the vicinity of the Cold River and passed by a height of land near Mountain Pond. From there, we descended back down to the Cold River, having a snack at the northern Cold River lean-tos before making the final push to Duck Hole. Duck Hole's dam was destroyed in storms years ago, and today it's more of an open field and swamp, reverting back to forest as the streams clear out the silt and cut down into their channels. The first 2 lean-tos had folks in them, so we continued to the new, unnamed lean-to at the northern edge of Duck Hole. Recently built, this lean-to is in a beautiful spot, and the lean-to itself is beautiful. We made camp, made a roaring fire to take the chill out of both of us, and went to bed early. We were both wiped out from a cold, wet slog in the damp weather that afternoon. It was bittersweet to wake up on day 10 knowing that our adventure on the NPT was about to end. We packed up and got on the trail, which had left the old tote roads behind and was traveling cross-country on what turned out to be the most rugged and muddiest section of trail we encountered for the whole trip. We quickly passed the intersection with the Henderson Lake Trail and then followed along the edge of Roaring Brook and then Moose Creek before reaching the Moose Pond lean-to on Moose Pond. There, we had some snacks with a very friendly chipmunk at the lean-to. Getting back underway, we had a long, though not very steep, climb to the height of land at the trail junction with the Wanika Falls Trail. Once past Wanika Falls, the trail was more or less all downhill for another 6 miles to the northern terminus in Lake Placid. The trail was rather nondescript, but as we started to hear the road and see the Chubb River, we knew we were close to the end of our journey and to the Mountain Dew that was waiting in the car to celebrate.
Final stretch. All we're talking about is Mountain Dew. What a trip that was. Raise the roof. Oh God. And it's raining. How apropos. Thunderstorm to our left.
Not gonna be swimming.
Aw, there's always time for swimming.
Here we are.
Is this the last sign-in booth? Oh, I gotta check us out. All right. Well done. Woo. Hold on, I'll take a... You're signing out?
Oh, shouldn't you?
Yes, I should. All right.
I'm done.
"139 miles over 10 days through heat waves, thunderstorms, cold nights, rainy days, sunshine. It was an adventure, but even better, it was a chance for us to revel in the quiet intimacy of hiking together, relying on ourselves and one another to make sure that we reach the end of our trek.